is to living in a one-bedroom. We had the bunk beds, my parents had their bed, and my uncle had to sleep outside in the living room. I really feel like, I have to dedicate my entire life to making sure that my parents' sacrifices were not in vain, because they did leave everything they loved. They left their culture, their family, their friends, their language, but they knew that if they wanted a better life for themselves, if they wanted opportunities, they absolutely had to leave. I graduated from CSU Pueblo.
So she graduated from CSU Pueblo. That's Sol Sandoval. She is running for representative of the U.S. Congress in the 3rd Congressional District of Colorado. So Sol Sandoval, there's 3 candidates in the Democratic side. There's 3 candidates on the Democratic side, and there's 2 candidates on the Republican side. This is Lauren Boebert, the infamous Lauren Boebert. She tried to overthrow the Capitol. She's been real white trash, yelling at, just being a terrible, okay, she's also raised like nearly $4 million. Don Quorum, he's, is running against Boebert, and he's raised like $50,000. So just to give you an idea of like what level Lauren Boebert is on. Lauren Boebert, she ain't gonna do shit for nobody. It's all about her and her own goddamn. She's a white trash from Florida. She's a Floridian white trash. So what are we gonna expect out of Boebert? Not a goddamn thing. Now, that's the Colorado 3rd District. Now, compare and contrast Sol Sandoval to Lauren Boebert, and hands down, Sol Sandoval is a million times better than Boebert. She's not over the top. She's not over the top and insane and ridiculously flashy for flashy's sake. She's not just being a spectacle for spectacle, for spectacle's sake, but she gives a shit. It says here she's a Chicana indigenous woman, a seasoned community leader, has been fighting for working people for over 20 years. She wants to take the fight straight to the nation's capital. First generation daughter of immigrants. I think that'll make her good on immigration. She grew up watching her undocumented mother and father. When it talks about when it comes to Congress, what I want is I want a health care bill, and I want an education bill, I want an immigration bill, and a crime bill, and a democracy bill, and I want, a farm bill. I want these bills to get passed every year. When it comes to going to Congress, they talk about every issue under the sun, but just look what happened with, the damn Democrats in the last year. They passed 2 bills. They passed an infrastructure bill, and then they passed the, Build Back Better. They passed 2 fucking bills, 2 goddamn bills. That's all you've done the entire time you've been in there. You put a check mark by one of the damn bills, and then you begged for money the rest of the time, didn't you? She watched her undocumented mother and father work endless hours and hold multiple jobs to make ends meet. She carries her parents with her, a reminder to never forget where she came from. Her 10-year career. I also like Sol Sandoval compared to Lauren Boebert. I think Boebert isn't just white trash. She isn't just Floridian white trash. She's a Trumpist. What, you think she likes Donald Trump because of his tariff policy? Bafamgu, get the fuck out of here. She's a Trumpist. So, I bet you if she's not full-blown racist, she's borderline racist. She consorts and is, in cahoots with the racist pieces of shit. So to have Sol Sandoval, even though she's an immigrant, right? Her parents, I guess, came from Mexico. She's been here the whole time. But and she graduated here. But brown people have been in the Americas for 14,000 years. So Sol Sandoval didn't just get here. White people just got here 500 years ago. Sol Sandoval's been here for 14,000 years. People also assume that the 3rd District is just solidly Republican. Yeah, the diehard voters are the Republicans. But there's a lot of poor people and a lot of rural people in the 3rd Congressional District too. And Hispanic people. Sol Sandoval will get all the Hispanic people. And if she could get, some of the Caucasians, if she could peel some of the working class Caucasians, I think just by her being herself, she doesn't have to be over the top and flashy. She was the number 1 choice in the assembly, so she's already got the, the caucus nomination. She just has to be Alex Walker and Adam Frisch. Alex Walker and Adam Frisch in the primary, which is coming up June 28th. So in, less than a month and a half, or about a month and a half away. Alex Walker and Adam Frisch, I feel like Alex Walker, for me, is her biggest competition. But maybe, Adam Frisch might appeal to some people. Adam Frisch has some interesting ideas, but I feel like Alex Walker's her biggest competitor because he's, more in your face, and he's saying, you want to beat Boebert? You want to beat Boebert and just be quiet? I think you can beat Boebert by being quiet. There's this Fred Tuttle. Fred Tuttle ran a campaign just right out of his front yard. He said, if you're in media, come up and talk to me. If you come up to my house in my front yard, I'll talk to you. And he won, senator. So that was a Senate seat. So I think Sol Sandoval could be herself. Just let Sol Sandoval be Sol Sandoval. Let her be however she wants to be. And she's not, she might not be like over the top fucking Boebert, but she's, can get your attention. She's a good speaker, and she's been, doing this community organizing for quite some time. And she comes out of Pueblo. And Pueblo is like one of the biggest cities in the 3rd Congressional District. And Pueblo is very democratic, very working class, and very brown, very Latino. So she never forgets where she comes from, so her 10-year career as a social worker only showed that what she's already lived, she's being the change, right? She be the change you want to see in the world. She's being the change after seeing her neighbors fail by her institution. She left her role, the Department of Social Services, committed to building community power full time. While in her position with Together Colorado, coalition of faith-based organizations, Sol Sandoval trained and organized people to advocate for collective bargaining rights for state employees. I wonder where she stands on the issues that I care about. I want unions. I'm a union man. And being a union man, there's a lot of people in America that don't even have a chance to vote for a union. You can't even talk about a union. You got to kiss the boss's ass. It's at-will employment. If you just look at the boss or the manager, or the shift manager with a side eye, you could get fired. So collective bargaining, union. I heard that there is a foreman that once told the boss, don't you come down here talking to my workers around here. You come down here with some goddamn respect. Doesn't that suck to be some fucking bitch to some fucking tyrant? Some piece of shit, bitch-ass slave to some tyrannical fucking douchebag motherfucker just because you gotta pay the bills and make ends meet? And you're fully qualified of doing their job, if not running your own businesses? Or doing some other professional job that pays you a wage that's... So she's for, collective bargaining rights for state employees, eliminating the state preemption on increasing the minimum wage, creating a paid medical and family leave insurance program. That's actually fantastic. There is they've just passed family and medical leave in Colorado by the ballot like a year or two ago. So that's fantastic. I don't know if that's what, the project that she was working on. But either one for Colorado or one for the United States of America. If she could get the United States of America to get universal health care, that would be incredible. But, I'd settle for some paid family and medical leave too. But Joe Biden promised us a public option. We were supposed to get a public option. Remember? Dumb Bernie don't know what the hell. He's going to kick everybody off their insurance, that asshole. Everybody loves paying their Blue Cross and their Blue Shield. They love paying their Cobra. They love paying thousands and thousands of dollars for absolutely nothing unless they need it. Right, insurance, and it's for your health. So then, if your child is sick, that's like, your loved one, they're holding you over a barrel. What, do you want your child to die, or are you going to pay us, your fucking mortgage? You going to pay us his college education, or... She's advocating for health equity with the Colorado Trust. She lives in Pueblo, has a dog named Esteban. Sol Sandoval's working class, born and bred union woman who will never forget where she came from or the people put her into office. She's a mother Of two, she will not stop fighting until the world is a better place for them. It's important that people who look like me see themselves reflected in their elected representatives. My heritage and identity are what made me into the person I am today. That's good that she's embracing, her history and her heritage. Is that not what the Confederate fucking racist motherfuckers are always talking about? They don't know shit about their history and heritage. So I think it's, that's good that she's not running away from her. She's a brown person, right? She's a Latina. She's a Chicana. And actually, I like that better. That's like the Black Power movement. So the Brown Power movement. She comes out of the Brown Power movement. She's a Chicana, right? Latina? Nah, I'm Chicana. Latina, that's Latin, right? That's, Spanish, that's, Spain, that's all the way over in the white countries. Chicana. Why? Because I was Shawnee. Why? Because I was the Ute. Because I was the Comanche and the Apache. The Yikaria Apache. Healthcare. So what are the public policies she cares about? Public education, healthcare, climate crisis. Which, what are you going to do about each one of those? Public education. We need freedom and democracy in public education. Talk about tyrannical motherfuckers. Yeah, what? Obey the damn dictator? Once I learned, I was valedictorian in my high school. Once I learned reading, writing, and arithmetic, I didn't need to do the rest of the fucking 12 years. First grade. Once I graduated first grade, public education already did what it needed to do. It didn't teach me any trades. It didn't teach me to weld. It didn't teach me no woodworking. Didn't get any good networking. You're with the entire community. You got one building and the entire community is coming together. And yet, it's not educating people, it's creating savages, and it's creating careerists. So yeah, I was valedictorian, so I conquered public education. But I feel like you shouldn't set foot in public school unless you're getting paid, unless you're the janitor, unless you're the principal, unless you're the teacher. You go in as a student in America, you're on the bottom. You're supposed to be on the top. They get $10,000, $20,000 just for you. For the students to sit there. So I believe in school choice because I think competition, you have to make public education is broken. Public education is not working. There's a school in Pueblo that actually made people dumber. You went to school for 3 years in one of the schools in Pueblo, your scores went down. So you're making people dumber. You're making them into savages. You're not, helping them, networking, nothing. Nothing is good about it. So if you don't give me a Sudbury education where there's freedom and democracy, get the fuck out of here with that public education bullshit. Waste of fucking money if you ask me. There's no freedom and democracy, and we're supposed to be young Americans who's going to inherit, this Bill of Rights and the Constitution and election, all the rest of this. Instead of teaching us civics, social studies, instead of actually teaching us democracy, democratic republics, and, Robert's Rules of Order, they said, shut up, sit down, we're the boss. We got the power, we get the money, you're fucking nobody. Shut the fuck up and do as you're told. Yeah, that's what I was being told at home, too, and then I go to work and they tell me that shit, too. When the fuck does, So there's some Sol Sandoval. She's running against Adam Frisch, who I'm not as... Adam Frisch just has a whole bunch of stuff like, I've done this and I've done that and I've done this, like he's all important and shit. But what are your policies? Why should I vote for you, Adam Frisch? That Alex Walker, he's calling himself a centrist, which really a lot of people consider themselves moderate, centrist. He's exciting. Alex Walker is exciting. He is in your face. And, he's doing all the... I don't know. I feel like... Yeah. I don't feel like either one of them are really her competition. I feel like she's got this in the bag. But, we'll see. And having a good conversation about the ideas is going to help. You have some of these races where they don't even have... They only have one person, like Yadina something. She's already won her 8th congressional district. She's not battle-tested. She's not having to run against anybody. So when she goes up against the Republican, they're running against each other. You got Tyler versus Barb versus Jan versus Lori. You got 4 candidates in the 8th congressional district for the Republicans and just, one candidate for the Democrats. So congratulations to Yadira. Yadiva, Yadira. Congratulations to Yadira that, she won. So did Brittany Peterson and Jason Crow and Joe Negussi and Isaac McCorkle. For the Democrats, the only competitive races are number 1, 3, and 5. But, what am I saying here? I'm signing off here. I guess the last thing I'll mention is just his perspective on some of his things. Alex Walker. Let's see. Repeal the Patriot Act. Give me ranked choice voting. Free college. Medicare for all. Puerto Rico, D.C. Turn them into the 51st, 52nd states. Some of the things Alex Walker is for: clean energy, responsible gun ownership. He's for gay rights, school choice, term limits, low taxes, small government, pro-union, pro-choice. So he says that the Charlottesville rioters, those Nazi bastards, are probably, pieces of shit, but your next door neighbor, they're probably okay. The only big problem that I have with Alex Walker is that he is 100% opposed to Medicare for all. He says, I don't want big government telling me how I should give me the shots that I need. I don't want big government telling me how to do this and how to do that. Social Security program, with that block, we've been able to do so much with Social Security. Not just give old people a pension, but the government borrows money using Social Security as collateral. So it helps us, with deficit spending and social spending in other areas. So it's not about, there's only like 5% in Colorado that doesn't have medical coverage. So we're almost there. We just got to get the last 5% covered. And healthcare is life. If you don't have health, you don't have life. So for him to say, well, 5% of those Coloradans, and they're probably all in the third, that's a poor district. So how about getting some rural clinics? You're against Medicare for all, fine. How about getting rural clinics out here? Get some doctor or some nurse out here. Or hell, turn, one of us into a doctor or nurse. I bet you that would be cheap as hell. There's about 15 counties? So just get 15 clinics, 15 employees. There. That's cheaper than universal health care. And it's not big government imposing. It's a clinic. God damn, if we didn't have a clinic growing up in Kentucky, we wouldn't have got any of our shots. We wouldn't have been able to do anything. So, it's a thought, right? But I wonder where Alex Walker is on clinics. But that's one point for Sol Sandoval. Sol Sandoval's for universal health care. She understands the importance of health care. Alex Walker seems to kind of be flippant about it.